this is going to be copyrighted real quick, so we're just going to go real quickly. This is Kaiserredux. We're going to be playing Canada, but we're going to play New England. It's complicated anyway. Hold on, we need just to get through the copyright music. We're going to notice the music tone will shift. Actually, I think OBS reset it, only set it. Uh-oh. Regardless, because you know, you just can't play Johnny Cash music since that is under copyright. Thank you for finally loading. Yeah, this is Kaiserredux. I said this is a far more superior thing to the Kaiserreich, in my opinion. Of course, you don't have to take that literally. Let me take a look here real quick. I'm not sure if Kaiserreich is allowed. I don't think Kaiserredux is allowed. So just for my safety, there, we should be good. We're only having the default soundtracks, the classic soundtrack, and nothing more, until I research a bit into the Kaiserreich radios. I wish I could play something like the Beacon, which is related to Canada, but yeah, I don't want to risk copyright. Well, everything seems to be fine so far. I still play my...
Yes, sir!
Oh, am I? I should be recording. I'll check it. I forgot about my timer. Sorry, I haven't. Anyway, I'm just gonna quickly go over this. Load. Oh wait, I don't have to do the national focus tree because Edward's not dead. Not Edward. George isn't dead. Anyway, yeah, you may be wondering why does this sound so rushed. Just Johnny Cash. This song is playing. I wanted to quickly go through it. I did not expect it to load. This game moves at an ungodly slow pace because it is what Kaiserredux is. It's a pretty much a giant submod mesh of all the submods that the Kaiserreich team has tried to purge. This entire scenario is what if Germany won World War I. We'll zoom out on the map in a minute. I don't care that the generic things are happening. We'll jump off. Anyway, back to this. We might not even have a. Are you starting? I hope you're starting. No, you're not. Science super events. Next step, check farm recording. I am recording. We're good. I can probably actually turn the audio up now, so you can actually hear the music a bit better. My apologies for that. I had to tone that way down. Anyway, it's a bunch of submods meshed together. You'll know a big difference in America very soon, in about 1937. Other nations have bigger focus trees. I know for a fact, we can go here real quick to our rival government, the Union of Britain. Where is it? Do they not have a tree for the coup? I don't think they do. Anyway, long story short, if Mosley's elected to power, I believe a general will storm London, secure it, and then they will be annexed by me. King's speech is finally unlocked. So yeah, I'm trying to play New England though. Today an envoy from the petty military junta of Transmere. So these guys, the Far Eastern Republic, have come to visit His Majesty King Edward. In his speech, the envoy informed us about King George. Okay, so King George promised to give stuff to him, and he wants more stuff. Have some stuff. You get free stuff. You look like a guy who needs free stuff. Yeah. If you look at any Kaiserreich stuff, you'll notice portraits are very different. Here, like Germany, he has a hat. What? I did not know I could do that. Cool. Anyway, look right here. Yeah, if you don't know, Kaiserredux is a bunch of add-ons to nations. Germany can go through a full-on civil war. I almost played Germany, but I thought playing New England to showcase America would be better. I talked it out with someone, and they suggested me playing America, and I refused because political statuses, and it's only heating up for me, and I don't want to even mingle in that nightmare. So all I'm gonna say is whatever I say, or whatever I do in the game, whatever decision I take a country, in any type of Hearts of Iron 4 thing, take it as a joke or me just being memey and stupid. And that's just being honest. Like, you don't take me seriously in this game at all. I don't take myself seriously. I literally played the Red Flood mod and made a wacky religious India in that mod. Don't take me seriously. You will regret it, and this is gonna be one of my only warnings. I don't like giving out massive warnings simply because it's just, people should know, but everyone has to say this anyway, because it does, people don't listen. Let's just leave it at that. People don't listen to it. So you have to cover that real quick. Anyway, yeah, Afghanistan has a small tree. It ends after this Anglo-Saxon War, by the way. I forgot what it's called, but yeah, it's a war between India and Afghanistan. This is their like 5th or 6th one. Congratulations, India. Anyway, okay, so this is our speech. The Conservatives suggest that we use the platform to endorse the upcoming elections, saying that we'll secure the cause of homecoming far better. Others, meanwhile, suggest. Okay. That's so cool. Anyway, let's go here. Crown Corporation. Let's do the Great Depression first. I should also mention this mod does cover hot topics and just kind of questionable things. You'll find out when we go into New England what I'm talking about somewhat, while trying to dodge the words at the same time. I know if we go into Mongolia... Oh wait, no, we need to get the Shackled Step of Mongolia for me to show what I mean. Now we need to wait for something to happen in Mongolia. What I'm trying to dance around is genocide. There will be certain nations in this game have focuses that are anti-Semitic based. Kind of. Actually, I can show you a better example of what I mean. Sure. I believe it's in the Vanguard. No. Arch of the Proletariat? Or did they remove it? They might have removed it. Yeah, this is after he gets shot. Sorry, this sounds like mad rambling. I just need to cover a lot of bases in the span of 5-10 minutes. So I can get all the trigger warnings out of the way. It's not in there. Is it in here? No, I think they renamed it and removed it. Possibly. I don't see it, but I swear there was a anti-Semitic focus in there. I'm losing my mind. I might be losing my mind. But yeah, I just wanted to let you know real quick. Those are the trigger warnings. It gets into dark territory slightly. I wouldn't go to partial mode just because the Great Depression's hitting us really hard. But that's kind of all the trigger warnings. Don't take me seriously when I play this game. Whichever path I go down, it's all for fun, meme, or being completely stupid and ridiculous, the way Kaiserredux is meant to be, and the way I think this game should be, instead of a very realistic to the point where you hire 50 historians to make sure you're accurate. Anyway, let's click here. They don't. Okay. Please tell me Canada can get New England. Can I? Can I do that? Oh, I can do that. I can do that. Okay, good. Sorry, this was kind of a rushed video because I've been meaning to record a video. And either I wait too long to the point where I get tired, or I just don't have enough time in the day because I have 2 dogs to manage. And they're both nightmares every once in a while. And luckily, I rolled for this entire week to be a nightmare for me with my dogs. So I'm also very tired right now, as is. Cup of coffee in the system. I should be okay. But yeah, yeah, if you couldn't tell, this is the entire loadout. I know I should send my army into Afghanistan to help India, but I really don't want to. The recently degraded state of the... Okay, this is West Indies being discovered as a corrupt hotbed of just horribleness. Anyway, let's create the Isaac. A number of university presidents and scientific leaders meeting in Toronto have called for the formation of a new organization to coordinate research. But this is Hearts of Iron 4. Like I said, I will always say that this game needs mods to function. The only downside about this mod is that roughly when I start to do army stuff, I will suffer a major lag spike. So this is just a warning. Attention! It'll happen right about now. Okay, so we're just gonna get a dirty old easy frontline set. Everyone hates if you do this. This is where the lag sets in. It's only for Kaiserredux. And the only mods I have on are, I think, player-led peace conferences and opaque political map. In fact, I don't think I have that on. And then I have the same colored puppets, so you can tell puppets apart from like who is their master. And I also have multiple color blindness mods on. Not because I'm colorblind, but because it's just easier to see certain decals in the game. There we go. That was the lag of me setting up the army. It only happens once every game, so I apologize for that. Yeah, the Stanley Cup. But anyway, this is Hearts of Iron 4. No, this is the game where I have to use hierarchies. Stellaris is the one where I have to use WASD. Is this what I think it is? you fun. Have fun, buddy. Oh, fuck. Oh, yeah, they did a second Russian revamp where they did this. You poor soul. I've heard they made that very broken to where that fight will last, no joke, until 1948. Is that little thing. That's what I've heard. Or maybe the guy I heard it from just was bad at the game. I'm not sure. But anyway, yay! Prince Edward is coronated now. Anyway, this is Hearts of Iron 4. It's a strategy-based game made by Paradox, who I have openly called a scummy corporation because of how they do hostile targeting with their DLCs. I think I've said this a couple times in private. I'm not sure I said anything officially yet, so I'm just going to say that right now. If you get the game, be warned, they will price gouge you and try to take all your money for a little DLC. They actually charged a separate DLC for the No Step Back update, just so you could buy some music. Yeah, so So Isaac's created. I'm trying to explain the game mechanics while I'm doing this. American Domains will that. I refuse. You can't debt me. I'm not deadable. Anyway, this is Hearts of Iron 4. A lot of stuff taken. Long story short, this is your focus tree. You click, and your nation does stuff through this. For example, some focuses will give you events and things to make things. Like, this is your decisions. Canada has a lot to do with monarchy stuff and loyalty. Now let's direct the exiles to... Kingdom of Canada will gain. Now let's go to off-map factory. Sorry, but these are different events you can do during the game. In fact, we'll go down to 3 speed so I can explain this better for you. I apologize, like I said, this video was rushed somewhat. Home Isles, this has certain things to do. These are events, as they're called. See, look at them. This is an event. I can wiggle it so you can't read, or I can keep it still and you can read. Long story short, if it isn't optional, usually I ignore it in any type of Kaiserreich mod, because usually it's story, and we don't have time for that, you know? Or if you've seen the same 20 events over and over again, because this is the only good mod you can actually enjoy, you just tend to tune 80% of the events out, which is what happens to me. Anyway, what's this here? That's political power, the weird, well, it's called legislative, not legislative freedom, but it's called political power. It's right there. Sometimes it's called administrative power, depending on the mod. But no matter what, it's something. That is a new thing that Kaiserreich adds. It's party popularity. Pretty much as famous as our party is, we get more political power because of it. That's stability. If it's under 50, you get debuffed. Same with war support. Russia plunges into a civil war. How bad? Now let's take a look. Oh, Boris! Wait, national populace? Oh yeah. Good luck, Zukov, buddy. You'll need it. Oh, I was about to say, whoa, they already killed Kolchak? No, he's still alive. This guy is screwed over all the time. I actually struggled to keep him in power. One time. It was horrible. Anyway, those are news events. Those are like, hey, did you know this thing happened in Germany? Or just like it said, a new pope was elected for the northern Italians. These are national spirits, aka if something bad happens, it's here. If something good happens, it's here. This is the party wheel. In the actual game, it's much smaller. Oh, conscription debate? We don't care. They're gonna get conscripted. You're gonna accept the fact you're in the army. Anyway, this is the political wheel. The wheel is just colors. Seriously, don't think too much about this. It's just colors. This is your party. This is your symbol. This is your ideology. Well, this is actually your party name. And then under it is the should be. No, I was way wrong. It's the other way around. Party name, ideology, party name, elections, faction you're in, kick and dismantle the faction. You can't do that because France is in it, but we could do that. Then we have path guides. Okay, I can't do that tab. Compromise with America? Oh, I could ditch them. Let's be friends. Can we be friends, America? Can we be friends, Herbert Hoover? Yeah, a lot of my trigger warnings in the start of this is for America because we'll figure it out. I'll show you what I mean. There's a lot of very things that make me uncomfortable playing the mod because YouTube is such a safe, quote-unquote, environment. YouTube's never safe. Anyway. Path guides. Other nations will have different paths. Like if we go to America, its path list will be huge. But because we're Canada and it's obvious they removed the New England path for some odd reason, even though we occupy them, it'll be here. It'll be like, hey, this is how you get X leader in the power. Just stuff you can do. Yeah, we can close out that. These are laws. This is conscription. You always want to be limited or extensive. You can bounce between the two. You know, this is trade laws. You sacrifice more personal resources for more passive buffs. I usually keep the export or limited because I'm lazy, and it also still gives me stuff back. This is mobilization. You saw me go in here briefly. Going to civilian isn't really useful. Going up is more useful. This is governmental, like, leaders. In base Hearts of Iron 4, you pick between the list, but Kaiserreich and Redux pick for you, pretty much, and you pick via an event. Military staff, you pick these guys on your own. Usually there's just a couple here, but because it's Kaiserredux, they have schools. And then we have chiefs of army. You know, this is just the army branch. We have the navy, and we have the air force. The chief of staff is just, it looks to just be something similar to the army, from what it looks like. Just clicking through these. That's all I'm going to say about that, because I'm not even sure. And then we have focuses. This is a Kaiserreich Redux only thing. I'm not sure if it's in Kaiserreich. I haven't touched that mod in a long time. Like I said, I stopped playing that mod around when they updated Central America, which was a while ago. This is your focuses. They just give you more buffs to your army and stuff. And then we have your research company. Picking them will either... Picking any of these will give buffs to certain vehicles, like light tanks, tactical bombers, and escort cruisers. We'll get to research later. So what's this? Organized by the Orange Order of Canada. Lisa, drink the orange, drink the fig. Celebrates Canadian ties to the British Empire. Have been campaigning for greater action against the Union of Britain. Has declared the Liberals' no conscription position as an outrage that threatens the very survival of the empire. Oh, so they're over-shouting the king, and then they're upset that the police kicked in the door and forced him out. Well, they shouldn't have been there. They came to call me out and they shouldn't have been there. Anyway, I already talked about this very briefly. You come here, you click on things, things happen. Some of them will cost political power, others will cost command power, and some will just be for free. This is intelligence agency. This was reworked and added with the resistance La Resistance DLC. Sweet. You can create a faction thing, an agency, which gives you buffs for civilian factories, and that's all it revolves around. You have research here. You get a certain amount of slots depending if you're a major, minor, or just kind of a country. And these are your research tabs. You have Army in green, Navy in blue, Air Force in red, and I guess civilian in, is that tan or brown? It looks more like a reddish orange. In a color. Clicking here, you have weapons and equipment, mobile infantry, special forces is down. No clue why the armored cars and special forces. Support companies exist. Some of them will require other researches. Trains because of the new supply hub update. Tanks, lights on the left, mediums in the center, heavy in the right, and modern tank at the very bottom. Artillery, anti-air, anti-tank, normal artillery. Destroyers, cruisers, battleships. You can see where they are. They still go further and further. Air Force, you have this. Like I said, this is engineering. You can actually get nukes and launch them. I never mess with them because they require tactical bombers and a bunch of other things. This is industry. Grayed out paths mean I picked their other path. I've heard you should always go concentrated industry. I go whichever. I just prefer concentrated because it's the first thing there. Oh yeah, we need to cover diplomacy. I never go in here. What it does is it just pulls up the last nation you right click down. Like, say I click on Germany and then I clicked on Mexico. It should pull up Mexico. See? R is trade. You need to pay attention to that. Like, oh no, I have a deficit of steel, so I'm going to buy 16 steel from America at the cost of 2 civilian factories. Meaning, if you go into the next one, so conveniently placed, you can see that I lose 2 because of trade, putting me down to 21, and then I lose 14. Oh, it's right here. Lose 2 because of trade, 14 to produce consumer goods, which is like food, toaster, things people need that aren't guns. And then I can build industry stuff, factories. I can even convert factories. I never used that button. Supplies, fortifications, and naval ports. After this, we have a production line, as you can see here. This means we are producing at less speed because we don't have enough stuff. That is factory output. The lower that gets, the slower we produce stuff. If it's at negative 100, we will not produce anything. Production efficiency cap is pretty much how long you do work. That is like how much you can do it while like repetitively. Kind of like how multitasking occurs, where if you multitask, over time you'll get better and better at that task. That's what efficiency cap is. Rentation is, let's say I don't want to produce artillery sucks. I want trains instead. See how that jumped way down? Oh wait, I don't want trains. My army needs artillery. And then that slowly grows over time. Those two numbers mean that it grows faster or it retains its knowledge. And then that just means when a bomber is bombing a city, it gets better defenses against being blown up, which is less of a chance. Next up, we have the divisions. Let me do the next focus, at least. Here we have divisions, as you can see here. We can pick any division from militia, infantry, RCMP brigades, divisions. We train them, and then we can click on an area. I can say I want infinite amounts, or hold on, no, I just want 1 unit. That's what I can do. Like, let's say do I even have tanks? No. Can I produce a motorized brigade? Let's take a look. What are we missing? Light tank. We're missing that in general. Okay. This is logistics, aka green number is good, red number bad. Resources needed to produce nothing. Bars show how much we're wasting a day. This is how much we're gaining. This is how much we have in our warehouses. This is Officer Corp. You can assign generals through here in base game. However, because it is Kaiserreich, their workaround where focus is. So, you know, you do a focus. You suffer command power loss, but in return you get army experience gains. And then in the land doctrines, it's you get to pick a doctrine and go down. If I was going to stick as Canada, I probably would do superior firepower because it's the path that goes down. Along with fleet and beam and battlefield support, they all do different buffs down the line. If you ever get the game, try every single one out, see which one you like. Ignore meta is my advice, because if you ignore meta, you will have a lot more fun, in my opinion. But that's just me. You may be wondering, what about these? These are like, hey, these are reminders of what you can do. This is the war tab. This shows you who's favored in the war right now, which aggressors, which I believe should be my side, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure because I'm pretty sure it might actually be Afghanistan as the aggressor. Wow, poor Russia. Anyway, yeah, these are allies that aren't called into the war. They don't want to join either. Oh, I guess they do want to join. These are field of manpower, aka all these numbers are added up to be how many troops you have in the field. These are how many people have died. These are casualty lists of, hey, you lost this many people, this is how many they lost, etc. That's the surrender bar. Once the red fills all the way up, they're dead. AKA they wave the white flag of truth. This is the front line, as you can see here, well, right here. That arrow is me attacking. You may be getting confused by the mode I always have on that shows me the battle plans of all my allies and subjugates, because it's just easier to know what they're doing too, so you can work around them being stupid. Oh, Bennett aggressively questioned a French-Canadian. What do you do? He beat the guy. Okay, that's kind of questionable. Anyway, we have the army here. Clicking this, you have training, the type of speed you want to advance at, naval invasions, paratrooping. I never use paratroops. No one uses paratroops. Making front lines. How many troops will be equipped during a front line? Meaning, if I click here, 0 troops will be diverted, so I'll focus here. But watch this. See that line here, right there, that is very sketched out? That means no one wants to go that way. I right-click. My army splits. And we pick to go to one area. Here, buddy. We're going to invite more people in. We're going to also begin a Canadian loyal tour. We're going to tour the Canadians. Anyway, that's the offensive line right there. That means if I click this arrow, my men will move.
All in.
My personal opinion, I don't need that line at all. I'm only doing that for an example, so we're going to delete that with the delete tool. This is a spearhead, meaning they'll go straight to where the arrow is pointing. I mean, if you point it like right here, they will go to that arrow no matter what, and will risk getting encircled just to do it. This is fallback line, meaning units will fall back, hold position. Garrisoning is useful. I can't activate it now, but yeah, you garrison an area. This is assignment mode. I've never used assignment mode. This is unassignment mode. Editing meaning I can just go, okay, I want you guys to go down here too, which I can't do because of the stupid DMZ zone, which is right here. I think I covered everything if I'm being honest. Oh yeah. Here you go, buddy. You can have some change. This is the theaters. This is how many armies you have. This is generals or field marshals. This is low supply, meaning we suffer supply losses. We'll get to those maps later. This is battle plans where no one is assigned to them. If I right-click, they're all assigned to them at least, or should be. I can create new theaters. This is a overall report of battles. Like, hey, oh, the Germans are back in Afghanistan and the Turks. Hey, you're fighting. Here is what's going on. You know, the general gist.
Orders.
There. We'll send that guy over to his doom. This is the map mode. You can click here to get more maps. This is I call it people call it political map because it just shows borders. This is naval. Oh, federal elections in 1936. I could go social democrat. I could also do conservatives, or I can do liberals. Let's go conservative. As you can see, we changed party ideology due to elections. This is our change. We went to Tories, social conservative, as you can see there. As I said, ignore the wheel. It's useless because you just saw a smaller party beat a bigger party in the election, which is possible. I just wanted to say ignore the wheel. Anyway, this is Navy. That's how many navies you got out, touch until I need them. Because that's how I work. This is faction pop-ups. This is Air Force. Green means good, red means bad. This is Spy Network. I mean, if you place a spy, it shows blued areas, which is like where the spy reaches. This is Search. So let's say I didn't know where. Trying to think of a good example. Let's say I didn't know where Moscow was. So I could type in the city. It shows you the state and the city. I can click there and it zooms me right in on the city. It's really useful. Looks like the Civil War is wrapping up much quicker because I'm pretty sure they fixed it. It used to be horrible. More than likely, the socialists will win because, I mean, that's what it looks like. I could be wrong. Yeah, as you can see, everything's already breaking down because of how wild-rided this is. And finally, they went the way I was going to say. I'm just gonna look through here. So I almost played Mongolia, but I wasn't sure. Yeah, right here. Those type of folks is I wanted to warn about beforehand, so it's less of a oh no, that's not nice, you know, or whatever the correct term of that's a bad focus. I don't know what I'm going for. That's activating a plan, by the way. That's stopping the plan. That is the general's personal opinion. That is the actual strength. I could seriously ignore that and just let my men grind on Afghanistan. I'm not an idiot. America deadlocked and they picked George Norris, the progressive. Okay, have fun with America. That's non-combat zones. You can't build military factories in there or send troops there. They're also called demilitarized zones. I call them DMZs because it's just easier. Those little things are bubbles for combat. Green good, red bad. much else to add. The game's kind of simple. If you ignore the side... Okay, for the side ones, the only ones you need to pay attention to are infrastructure, if you just want to see the map change, and supply, so you know how starving your troops are. Nice and full. It also shows railways and everything else. Here, it shows you division composition, like how many are in your army, what type of motorized priority they are. Are they cav? Are they truck? Or are they truck as I call it, which means they just care a lot more. If you have no step back, you can assign a railgun to them. I, however, don't want to spend 20 bucks for no step back just because I want to play other games and I don't want to sink more money into Hearts of Iron 4 or Paradox. It's a nice splurge game every once in a while, but I don't like buying Hearts of Iron 4 DLCs. Stellaris is where you should go, by the way. It's a more better... It's the betterest of all of the Paradox games. And we're not talking about Imperator Rome, which has been abandoned officially, by the way. They have officially ditched it. Sweet. Oh yeah, that's fuel, that is supply, or logistics. If that's at 0, you're gonna have multiple problems, and you're gonna cry yourself to sleep. Because you realize your troops are losing every combat because they're hungry. Or they're hungry. You gotta feed them something. Maybe some burgers, maybe some chicken nuggies, I don't know. Dino nuggies might cheer their spirits up. Might want to see about those dino nuggies. Clicking on portrait. Those are their traits, you can't see it because this guy has none. So we're going to Field Marshal, Bernard Montgomery. In our world, he was a stellar general, I think, in World War II. I'm not sure if he was or not. I don't know anything about that. I just know he led Britain in Africa. Pretty sure he did a good job, though. I mean, look at that man. Look at his little hat. So many awards. So stunning. That right there means they have fuel. That's how much they're using. If it's red barrels, that means they are running out of fuel. That's entrenchment, meaning they dug in, meaning they get a defense bonus. That's their XP. That's their level. Higher level, better buffs. One of these is the second bar right there. That's plan preparation. Long story short, they prep for an offensive, they get buffs for the offensive. And then this is templates, images, I can change those. And then the little arrow right there, right here, the red arrow, that means, hey, in the supply logistics, if we are running low on rifles, they get those those units get those last, while the yellow ones they get the rifles first. I mean, if I research, let's say, a MP40, for example, and my men are stuck using bolt-action rifles, the yellowed arrowed units would get the MP40s first, regardless. So much talking is actually hurting my throat. Hold on, keep going. Okay. That's it, really. That was such a quick rundown. Yeah, no. Anyway, let's talk about the world. As I died, that's factory count. I forgot about factory count and the XP and convoys. Yeah, Army XP is gained by the Army fighting, Navy by naval fighting or training. I have this on civilian difficulty, apparently, which is the easiest difficulty. My apologies, I forgot to change that. It is too late now, we are not going back. Call me as it is. I usually play in normal difficulty. I've been playing in easy difficulty recently because I like just sitting back and relaxing, playing random strategy games. Now let's go with fire support. Someone can explain this much better. Alex the Rambler is a pretty decent guy who explained it. I'm not sure about anyone else, really. I can't really talk about the world war right now because the world is a mess. I mean, look at Russia. They're duking it out again a second time. Long story short, this is a what if Germany won World War I. Eastern Front happened, Western Front happened. I think the differences between the two is that in the West, Germany managed to take Paris and America never got involved. Which is why they're kind of just, you know, doing well. Totally not having no economy. Ha, that's the joke. We'll find out. What? Oh, he went on his trip. Okay, enjoy it, Kina Bird, you handsome lad. I don't know. For this, I can make much more comments than Darkest Dungeon, which I like. And by the way, our save is still there. We're good. I just had to reinstall every single game to play. Anyway, let's invest into myself because I'm greedy. What do I want? A civilian factory, please. I'm not taking Canada serious. Oh, it's starting. I'm not taking Canada seriously because, like I said, after this happens, not America. Canada gets an event to secure New England and Alaska, which means we can go down some radical paths. I know if we go down a military dictatorship under the Canadian Army, we can either get the monarchy, the military, or, no joke, you might have seen Provis play this game if you already watched that, but I can't remember his name. My brain is just fried right now. HP Lovecraft. We can get him into power. So anyway, yeah, you can get what I said by, I didn't touch America at all yet. I would love to play them, don't get me wrong. I was actually going to more than likely try and go down Old Blood and Guts, because that sounds interesting, but, I mean, like, come on, hold on, it's even worse if you go down to Alpha Bill. Yeah. Like I said, it gets worse. So, we're not going to ignore that. I just want to mention it. Kaiserredux has a bunch of submods. One of them has changed the American Civil War path, which I like. I mean, it's a nice change than just this goes Pacific, this goes Communist, and then this entire area is Huey Long's domain. And then you're just stuck with border gore. I just like it. I like this a lot more, just because it's more content. Nicer to play. I'm surprised we're moving at a decent pace. I seriously expected episode 2 where we started to dig into the New England stuff, not now. Especially with all of this going on. What are you? Eastern Karelia? That's weird. Anyway, a little story why Russia wasn't communist at the start of this game, but quickly changed. During the Civil War, there's a super event. Take over New England, please. Seize New England, please. Thank you. New England is mine now. We're just gonna stop that focus. I'm just gonna quickly do the New England question. Also, the game added a cool little focus for New York City. No joke. What happens is New York City breaks free, and you can just have the LAPD rule the entire city. You can also have a bunch of prominent actors rule the city too, which I find funny. You're gonna have a House rule the Pacific States. You can even have Huey Long retreat into Paraguay and become King of Paraguay, only to crawl yourself back to America through Paraguay of all places. Watch, man, I can't remember the YouTuber I watched. iStar's Productions Huey Long route, where he did go down the Paraguay route. He hated it. Refugees fled to upstate New York. Yeah, man. Don't worry, don't worry. Anyway, I have no clue how to go down the HP Lovecraft route. I'm heavily leaning towards it. Anyway, if I remember correctly, we have to release New England but ensure its loyalty. Now we are going to lag these slums. We're New England now. Under the military government. Anyway. And we're going to go down God Save the Queen, I believe. Oh, King. Sorry. God Save the King. Where... said, HP Lovecraft is an option. What? This is new. Oh my god. They have we're gonna go down HP Lovecraft. I'll do everything in my power to be the wild man himself. I could totally come back and actually play a different route. Lovecraft or the Monarchist. Alright, Lovecraft. Release New England, taking ensure loyalty and option. This is why I like Kaiserreich. Once the citizen riots have them overthrown, the government Lovecraft will step in a few days. Cool. Alright. Where's the man? This is America's darkest hour. Wait, should I even do that? I'm not sure. This looks like a legal. We're gonna ignore that just in case. Wait, like it cancel out on. Just in case, we're not gonna touch it. Oh, but I have to touch it. What? We're not touching it. Anyway, we're just gonna we should steal Canada's tech. The provincial government of England, thanks to our allies in Canada, we've set up a provincial government in Boston. We prepare to liberate the rest of our country, yada yada yada. Don't tread on me, man. I am the remnants of freedom.
Yes, sir.
Or should I be? California classifies that. But yeah, then we're gonna hit play. Military. Oh god, we took all of Canada's stuff with us. Oh no, these are all... A lot of these look like a mixture of Canada and American troops. Shut up, phone, this is why I don't like to... We're not out of time yet, and I plan to go a little bit further anyway. Sure, we'll join and invest political power with 50. So I need guns, support equipment, and code artillery. Yeah. Booyah. This is unit cap. I'm way over it because I'm in the economy. No one likes me. I need to go up to... I was going to go partial mode when the time comes. Yeah, I need my guns. I need my... I think I accidentally clicked civilian. No, I clicked military. I need more guns. Yeah, and and Canada dragged us into a war against Central America. And Afghanistan. So yeah, now we just have to wait and be patient for, our lad, HP Lovecraft, to just kind of leave his house and just decide one day, you know what? Maybe Cthulhu is real. Yeah, because then Albert, the brother of Edward, I think, takes over. And civilians will start to protest. Which is when we go down this route and secure our world. Okay, this is cool. I might actually go down... I might go down Long State with his actual successor. Or I might go down the Hare. God Save the King. Weeks ago, Prince Albert of Windsor sworn in as government general. Yeah, God save the queen. And the king. Yeah, my past few days have been fun. Don't worry, I'm doing peachy. Oh, we're supporting the federal government, which means we can send supplies. How about no? Sorry, America, but you're overruled. Yeah, down the HP Lovecraft route, we will attack the United States. Oh no, the citizens. They took over Parliament. Who would have thought? But yeah, the CSA also has Scarface or Al Capone take over as well. Like I said, I just like it more because it's just overly crazy and amusing to me. Yucatan exists. They actually have an entire rework. Oh yeah, and I want to show you something too. We also have a Hungarian focus tree to coax more people over. Yeah, Hungary actually matters. Yeah, only Lovecraft can save us now. We need to move quick. We need to move quick. Because with HP Lovecraft existing and with his lovely face, we have Christians who hate us. I'm not going to add context to that. You can make me as horrible as that sounds. What? Okay, my friend just sent me something. And like usual, due to my Wi-Fi, it won't load. I will jump back to him later. Anyway, HP Lovecraft, he exists now. Catholics hate him. Catholics hate him. The monarchy hates him, and more importantly, I hate him. That part was a joke, by the way, but the last part was. I'm pretty sure Canada will despise me soon, because we will kick them out. We are a national populace, one of the few nations that have it. And yeah, as you can see, first off, we're going to try and figure out how to demolish the Catholics. Right there, securing New England. That's how we demolish the Catholics. We've decided. And yes, I'm going to make this sound as horrible as I can, just because I think it's more funny like that. But as you can see, Christian resistance boosts radical socialists and social democrat. Now, I'm not sure if they get to a certain point they can coup, which means that we would have to go down, I believe it's here. No, maybe not. Maybe not, I'm not sure. But I know a lot of nations in America does have Catholic tied focuses. I know one path I really do actually want to take you guys down is the psychotic gunpowder plot. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything else about that plot. And oh, we're not even on pause. I'm so sorry. Alright. Oh, he sent me something about joking about Stellaris. Okay. Only following orders. Well, oh yeah, this joke. Multiple common direct orders from dispatching generals are scribbled out legal documents or penciled into the margin of previously sent commands. Send 40 yards of eggs to Quincy. Oh god. I love this path. It is beautiful. Anyway, hold on. We'll wait till the autosave hits, because I do play this game with autosave, because I'm paranoid it will crash at any time. So after the autosave hits, we're ending it here, regardless of where we are. It is way past my time. I'm glad to hear you guys listen to my rambles once again. Like I said, don't take any of my words seriously in this game at all. It should start the 3rd of May. But, yeah, don't take anything seriously in the series at all. Keep it with full open hearts and mind, at least for this, even though this is a horrible thing to do, because we will go down a part of the path that will make me feel awkward saying it aloud. But, yeah, I just wanted to say, hope you guys have a great time. We are going to be deleting our old save, as I have done what I had done originally, and we're going to create a new save called New England Holds for now. I don't know. Just something, because I know America, when they unify, they'll come for us. But anyway, great being here. It was nice to exist with you guys. I need to go see what my friend wanted. And yeah, sorry Johnny Cash for playing your music without permission.